This spirit was New Zealand, were a major inflection point in Dave's life. Immediately, he fell in love with the country. It was an opportunity for him to finally be in the environment that he could follow his inner spirit. Oh, and I can tell you that as I sat at my desk over the years viewing Dave's adventures from afar, I knew he'd found his happy place. And I questioned mine. Whenever a close friend passes, we can view it a number of ways. There's no doubt it leaves a void, but overwhelmingly, I feel so fortunate to have Dave come into my life. His light shone brightly and influenced a significant amount of my life. Dave is family to me, my wife Roseanne, and my 3 boys, Eric, Mark, and David. We will all miss him. To Taylor and Kirsten, you are your father's pride and joy. You have your father's positive nature, intelligence, and unfettered curiosity. Sorry, that's not feathered, that's fettered curiosity for the path ahead. I'm confident in your many successes going forward, but I want you to know that we are all here to support you whenever you need it. If you ever need a voice or counsel, please call, reach out anytime. I want to conclude with a poem from Mark Twain, Safe Harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Thank you. It's pretty everybody who's food, and I met Dave when I at first the first day I met him I thought, oh, he's kind of hot, really is what I was thinking. But yeah, and then some friends, we had mutual friends, and they thought his best friend was at chiropractic college, and my best friend was his girlfriend, and she was at massage school with me, and they thought it'd be fun to introduce us. So they kind of tricked us into going away on this weekend together, and it worked. We really fell for each other, and we weren't dating very long before we knew it was something special. And then we ended up getting married in 1991, and 3 years later, dun, 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 beautiful girl number 1 came, Taylor, and a couple of years later, a year and a half later, Kirsten came along. And man, you know, the joy that these girls have brought into his life, and the pride that he feels for them. And my best memories really are just thinking about the things we did as a family. And I don't know, there's probably a few women here in the crowd that can attest to this just because of where we live, but I was always really proud of myself when I was in Canada, because I swear I breastfed in the most peculiar places. And I thought, yeah, I'm good, you know. I remember breastfeeding at the top of a cliff face in Lake Placid near the Olympic Stadium there. I've breastfed in the middle of a lake in northern Ontario, and Taylor was in this little life jacket, you know, like it was only like this big, and she's on her back and she can't do anything. And yeah, the other thing I remember is that no matter what we wanted to do, if it wasn't child friendly, Dave would find a way. Find the start memories. You know, a lot of really happy.
Hey, love and stuff. Second snap. Finish there. People we got if the must to get over and go. A treasure to
course, on the Canada. That would be a great time. I was here. I wanted to really amazed. I always loved the mountain to me. In the water and it's and walks. I get the years, whether doing whatever we're doing, is beautiful things with. So we go full people that we love, commonplace. The Jongsma, great kids, and Anita. He was always one man change, talking about. Wasn't happy with what he put up on your sites of others. His desire for his own completeness, but also part of his life journey on, which is a gift, penetrable, safe. It's a beautiful.
Our pin-up pink Billy.
And that expected. Then he became to a body. I think it sounded kind of challenges about living here. Northeast part of affectionately like Dave O'Shara. That, and we had to kind of give. Then, yeah, the other difference is that what was marked Dave as being Canadian is, I think, Canadians are nice in general, but Dave was like an extra nice Canadian. It's hard to imagine, but there he was. He tried to be more sarcastic, and I was helping him on that. I'd been here a little bit longer, so I'd already learned the Kiwi sarcasm thing. So I was trying to get him on board, but even when he was trying to be mean, he couldn't do it. He just had that big smile and everything. So on to similar interest, as we soon find out. Yeah, sports, guitar, good food and beer. I was talking to Simon Brebner last night on the phone, and we talked about, I think, came up with about 150 sports that are out there, and I think we came down to 2 that Dave didn't do. The guy got around, he gave everything a go, and more than just a go, he gave it his all, and that was Dave. In the flat, Doug and Simon and Steve and I would embark on road and mountain bike missions on a pretty regular basis, and try to destroy ourselves and each other with a grin and make it not look like it hurt, but that was all part of the game. And we always relied on Dave to give us a pull. When that guy got on the flats, he had a motor like nobody else, and man, could he go on the flats. It was really impressive. I got a little line here. He pulled like a schoolboy, but for a lot longer. When we were out riding one day, out Cardrona Valley and back, time trialing, I remember this is something Simon was mentioning, that we were talking about our heart rates, because I think we were all wearing monitors at the time, and what are you at? 165. What are you at? 178. And Dave goes, we didn't hear anything, and Dave, what are you at? And he goes, oh, 136. Get out in front. Right. Skiing, that is another really big common bond that we had with Dave, and he was a fixture at TC. He was there anytime he could be, for sure. And he had a wide breadth of love of the sport, from gates to POW to running down the triple treat and hooting and hollering and dressed as an idiot, like everybody else there. But it was this happy slaying with going as fast as he could through gates as he was skiing with anybody that rocked up that day and that was keen to ski. So that was I think a real telling thing about Dave, is that he just enjoyed life and sport and sharing with the people that he was with. whoever that was, even if it was somebody new. So that was quite cool. As a keen climber and mountaineer, he often had to share those aspects of his life with other loves of his life, which was his love of food and family. Sean relayed this to me the other day. This is how this came about. Is Dave would be out belaying while Sean was on lead, and Sean gets to kind of a difficult part, and he just kind of looks down at Dave, and there's Dave with one hand here and the other hand reaching out through the food bag. Because Dave loved food, he loved good food, and what he loved really the most was free good food. And so, he was right in there into the pack, grabbing for everything he could. And if it wasn't that, it was he was on his phone checking out pictures of the girls and sharing those. So much so that he would share them while he was on belay. Taylor writing on, thanks for sharing that. It just all came, and things. He was just a parent that the family, raising kids, one wonderful way, and he was well aware of that, and he was a great supporter of our own kids in the process. He gave a lot of his time and attention to our boys, Hank and Finn. And Finn, who's overseas at the moment, sends his apologies and best thoughts to all of you guys. Hey, as a parting comment, as a neighbor, friend, and sports partner, it's obvious, looking around here, that the enormity of his passions are only matched by the enormity of the loss that we all share. May we all embrace life as Dave did, and would want you to. Cheers.
It's appropriate that the final tribute today comes from Dave's partner, Rachel. Please, Rachel Bentley.
I had the pleasure of being Dave's intimate partner in life. At times it was tumultuous and challenging as we explored our own vulnerabilities. At times it was passionate and joyful. In recent months, Dave was learning to let go and make peace with some aspects of his life. He was attempting to slow down, rest in peace. I know Dave struggled with peace, so it's probably more appropriate to say rest in adventure. We had some amazing trips together, and they were fun and at times hair-raising. He gave me the confidence in my capacity to do it. He believed in me as his co-pilot. On our recent holiday to Northland, Waitangi, he was reminded of a strong sense of belonging to the land, rather than the land belonging to him. Our adventures together were about the connection to the land, and this was expressed in his Clarence inclusive journeys. Our adventures were part of his spiritual growth and richness. The difference between Dave and I was that he would talk and I would feel. And occasionally he would give sermons with great passion, which would often make me want to escape. However, it made me appreciate the true value of his great soul. I'd like to share some words from Ram Dass, which Dave and I discovered recently. I didn't expect to be sharing these with you, but they seem perfect for right now. Dave finished his work on earth. He left the stage in a manner that leaves those of us behind with a cry of agony in our hearts. as the fragile thread of our heart is dealt with so violently. I can't comfort you in your pain with any words, nor should I, for your pain is Dave's legacy to you, nor that he or I completion, that you are prepared to find experience each other. This irrational minds. Dave was my liberator, my challenger, my muse, and my spiritual portal. Rest and adventure with all my love.
What better to listen to now? Than Dave singing himself.
This is the ending fire that we should all burn together. Watch the flames burn high into the night, calling out, Father, stand by, and we will watch the flames burn all around the mountainside. We should die tonight, then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out, Father, prepare as we will watch the flames burn up and on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hallowing souls. I see fire blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me.
Kirsten. So Kirsten and Taylor are now going to come up and share some words about their dad.
Oh, that's really strange to hear his voice. He was a beautiful singer. I remember one time Mum asked me, Kirsten, do you think I'm good at singing? And I said, let's just say I think I got it from Dad. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I want to share a poem I wrote for him last Christmas. I found a real sense of comfort through poetry. In the last couple of years, I've started my father. And things to lie, causing sparks, and love is, and you are collectible, and holding this a huge hole that I've felt moments of peace throughout the last week that I find comfort in, and I was thinking about it, and you know, I would have rather had Dad for the time that I had than to have had any other father for my whole life. He I've never met anybody who loved me so much. He was just incredible. As far as fathers go, when I went to see him for the last time and I went to leave, all I could really say was thank you. With everything in my heart, like every part of myself, he has taught me, like, he taught me so much in the amount of time I had him for. And although I feel like I should have had him my whole life, or until I was a lot older, I'm just in awe of him and what he did for me. So I smile when I sing for him because I know he loved it, and it makes me feel close to him, and it makes me really happy. And he always supported me in everything I did. He didn't care what I chose to do, where I wanted to go, whatever gender I would love, anything like that. He just loved me, and he supported me, and I'm in awe of him. Yeah, so really, really appreciate everyone. It's faces. I didn't really love her, but him, and he followed. In the past few years, this Vietnamese monk named Thich Nhat Hanh, he followed a lot of his teachings, and Dad and I would have long talks about I think sometimes we talk about my grandfather, my opa, who passed away in 2011, was a minister. And I think that was passed down to my dad, and maybe that's been passed down to me, and we would have long talks. But the quote is, many people are alive but don't touch the miracle of being alive. But Dad touched the miracle of being alive. I think it was one of his greatest wishes to continually touch the miracle of being alive, to bring himself back to the present, the only moment we have to commune with the source of all things, the Creator, God, whatever works for you. Dad has long let go of labels. I had another memory came back to me. I was not feeling well, I was upset, and he had just gone for a long bike ride, like he often did. He would say he was going around the block, but that meant to lug it and then Hawea, and it was a big block. But I remember him coming back, and I was upset, and I was like, Dad, you know, my parents had separated, and I was like, my life's not gonna be the same. And he just said very confidently, you know, Taylor, it's gonna be alright. You know, I've just spent 2 hours communing with God. That we wrote him in words, and I said, Dad, love begins at putting love. He didn't sit for him, and that he really loved, and it's by a poet called Mary Oliver, and it's called Why I Wake Early, and he would always wake early, way earlier than we could ever get up.
Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who make the morning and spread it over the fields, and into the faces of tulips and the nodding morning glories, and into the windows of even the miserable and the crotchety. Best preacher that ever was, dead star, that just happens to be where you are in the universe, to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness.
I'm just going to play a song that I wrote for Dad, and I played it to him on Christmas this year, and I wasn't going to play it, and I'm really glad I did. I told him not to show anybody, and then once I found out that he had passed away and a bunch of people had come by and seen me, they said, "We saw the song you wrote for your dad." And I said, "Right, of course you did." But at least he didn't post it on Facebook like he usually does. I'm not the best. I'm good. I'll take you good. Mountain, thinking of you, good.
Might be this little brochure because Dave recently becoming a track singer. We will remember and keep celebrating, remembering Dave. Keep telling Ngāre he toa takitini. Refreshments here after the ceremony. Free to stay into the evening, something unusual. And a nuktuk. And he's built one table cone. And Sonia Mark, another one out in his process. To choose one to just sharing it with you. We tenderly and reverently commit your body
Flowing
You know, there's about 12 people.
Because I was a bit concerned it would interfere with the thing, but if you can just come and go, it's amazing. Well done, Tim. We need someone intelligent like you to do it. Perfect.
And we're getting to that stage of life where it's sort of, you know. That's it. Time for a timer. And then 5 years after that, it was like, suddenly people get fit. Yeah. We've had a little time. He was a drinker, so he's great. Last year was good mate. We just been up on the roof together. We went out on the sound yesterday. Took our American friends out with us. The guys that have done the Christian project. So we've had the holiday. Yeah, I'll never try to come back and go over. Good to see you. Great to see you too. No, it wasn't that. It'll be memorable, that's right. I just called Kirsten last week, trying to contact Ricky, who was up here for the year, saying, because we were coming to Dave's that night. Oh, okay. So, and she said, what's the matter?
Other side and down and it was more quiet. Yeah, it wasn't as quiet. I mean, it wasn't as
Come to Dunedin. I think I said that to you last time I saw you 2 years ago.
Stop! Come here! Hello.
Yeah, what's that?
He's asking for food the whole time.